Search for reality. The modern science 400 years back in the western part of our globe started the journey to search for reality. It was a scientific revolution initiated by Newton and Descartes. The objective is to find out whether there is one fundamental reality from where this whole creation has emerged. And to investigate this, they developed a new methodology of modern science. What features this methodology of science is to form a hypothesis and design an experiment, conduct the experiment, and observe all changes that occur very meticulously, and conduct the experiment again and again. And if it gets repeated, then you conclude, you infer that this is hypothesis proven. This is the methodology of science that was evolved. The best of the intellectuals from all over the world, started working in this direction to search for reality the scientific way. Soon, Newton and Descartes found that this world is very, very complicated. We do not understand how even an object just falls down. We don't know how the lightning occurs, how the thunderbolt comes. What to talk about things like gods, goddesses, devils, pishachas and others? No, it is all beyond our capacity. So let us start things which are very simple, down to earth, concrete things of this world. Once we complete understanding of this thing, then we will go to the more subtle and causal dimension of our universe. This is how science started. And breakthroughs after breakthroughs. And today we are in a fortunate position after 400 years that we know almost everything in the physical world. In search for reality, we wanted to find out from where the whole universe has come. What is that source? To find out the structure of this physical universe, we started finding out. And today we know that every object is made out of molecules. What are the molecules made out of? Atoms. And atoms, protons, neutrons, electrons, fundamental particles. Very, very, very subtle and small particles. And what are they made of? They are all made out of energy. They are called as quarks. Therefore we know that everything in the physical world is nothing but energy. And we can precisely calculate how much of energy is in given matter. The famous equation, E equals mc square. E is the energy, m is the mass, and c the velocity of light. What is the velocity of light? 186,000 miles per second. If a light ray starts here, in 1 second, it will have 300,000 kilometers away in 1 second. Put that number. E will be a very huge number. For example, if I convert this small piece into energy, it can burn up 50% of our entire Bangalore city itself. Such is the immense amount of energy packed into so-called inert matter. And we have been able to use this for destruction in atom bombs. And when we convert them into useful energy, we have the nuclear reactors to generate energy. The process of fission reactors as they are called. Therefore we need today, everything in the world, physical, is nothing but energy. Now, what are the laws that govern this physical world? We know that for normal speeds, They are governed by laws of motion found by Newton. All of you know about this Newton's laws of motion. 3 laws of motion. And this entire set is called as classical mechanics. That means everything here is classical. What does that mean? Everything is determined. It is also known as the deterministic approach. There is no ambiguity. If, for example, if I leave an object, after 1 second, we know it is 32 feet down. If I launch a rocket in a particular direction, in a particular speed, it goes on and you can trace the entire trajectory towards the moon. No ambiguity. Everything mathematically precise. And this is why it is called deterministic approach. All of us have studied the 3 laws of motion in our high school days. What are they? Law number 1. It says a particle continues to be in its state of rest or of uniform motion unless it is disturbed by an external force. If you don't have an external force, it will continue moving like this or stay where it is. This is law number 1. Newton found out this, therefore it is called Newton's laws of motion. What about the second one? Second law of motion. All of us are familiar. Force is proportional to mass and acceleration. F equals ma. Depending on the force, your acceleration, the rate at which your particles move, will become more or less. If you have a tremendous force, it will go very fast. If you have less force, it will go slowly. Also, it depends on the mass. If the mass is very huge, same force, it will take you slowly. If you have a small mass, it will go fast. So this is law number 2. And law number 3, very important. Action and reaction are equal and opposite. Depending on how much force with which you throw a ball to a wall, it is going to come back. Greater the force you throw, come and go fast. The action and reaction are equal and opposite. These are the 3 laws of motion which all are very familiar. The third law of motion, action and reaction are equal and opposite. Depending on your action, the reaction also gets controlled. A simple example. I take a ball and throw it to the wall and the ball comes back. If I hit with a greater force, it is going to come back with greater force. This is law number 3. Therefore, depending on the mass and with the force, you will be able to trace the entire trajectory as to how it is moving towards your goal, say moon. Precisely you can calculate. It is all mathematically precise. Therefore we call this as deterministic approach. This is all for normal speeds. But when you go to extremely high speeds, like an electron swirling around the nucleus, nearing the velocity of light, then these 3 laws will not hold. We have to go for new set of laws. They are called quantum mechanics, special theory of relativity, and the deterministic collapses. What do I mean? We know in the classical mechanics, if I leave the object, everything is determined. Whereas in the subtle world of subtle particles, it is different. If I leave an electron here, electron can come down, electron can go up. It can go to the front, to the back, to the right, to the left. In fact, an electron spreads like a globe. Therefore, you cannot say where exactly will be the electron after I leave the electron from here. It can be here, can be here, it can be in that corner, or it can be far away there. Determinacy collapses. The death of determinacy, people have written. Then how to do that? We only talk of probability. The probability to find the electron after 1 second here is 10%. Probability of finding the electron far away in that is 0.1%. This probability can be calculated. For that, mathematical equations are available. That is the Schrödinger equation. Therefore, we have mathematically precise ways to calculate the probability function. Therefore, this entire gamut is called the probabilistic mechanics, quantum mechanics. And that is how the whole set of equations describe the whole motion in the normal speeds and in the extremely high speeds. So we know both the structure and the laws that govern this physical universe. Everything is nothing but quarks, energy, and the laws of Newton for normal speeds and the quantum mechanics for extremely high speeds. So we are in a fortunate position. We have been able to understand the whole spectrum of this physical world. What is it made out of and what are the laws that govern them. Therefore, anything physical, we have been a big success. Putting man on the moon, building skyscrapers, underwater tunnels, information technology, and very powerful pharmacological interventions, and very sophisticated surgeries. We have 5,000 types of surgeries. You can replace every part of the body today. Everything is physical. Therefore, anything physical, we have been a big success. That's where we stand today. After 400 years, therefore, we are in a fortunate position that we understand everything about the physical world. Then what next? In early 70s, people thought that we have reached the end of the game. There is nothing else to know. But soon came that wonderful book written by Professor Fritz of Capra, The Turning Point, in which he traced the entire history of modern science from the time of Descartes and Newton. So having understood everything about this physical world, we thought that we had reached the end of the game. But there came the wonderful book, Turning Point, written by Professor Fritz of Capra in early 80s, which sold in millions all over the world. What did he do in this bestseller? He traced the entire history of modern science, how it started from Newton and Descartes, how we unraveled the laws that govern them and the structure, and what are all the changes that brought forth in our life, how the life became more comfortable, and what are the challenges that we faced, everything. And then he said, remember what Newton Descartes said, after completing the understanding of the physical world, we have to go beyond the physical. We are in that transition, we are in that turning point. Is there something like prana? What is it that we call as mind? Into this region of subtlety and causality, we have to move, he said. It opened up the minds of people, and the scientists started investigating things beyond the physical. In understanding this entire world, having completed understanding of the physical world, we are moving towards the subtler and causal dimension of this world. In that we are in a very embryonic stage. Over the last 40 years, hardly we have touched the fringe of the problem. Except to talk about consciousness here and there, we have not made any major change, major understanding as well. But what is the way out? It's here that the top scientists of the world, including Fritz of Capra, believe that India has the solution. And they believe that Upanishads can give the directions to modern science. Whether it is Fritz of Capra or Professor Josephson, Brian Josephson, who was the youngest Nobel laureate in the world. At the age of 29, he got his Nobel Prize for Josephson function. He says that Upanishad give the direction. How is it possible? The ancient scripture, thousands of years old, can give direction to the most modern science with all such tremendous growth of science and technology? It looks impossible. So, what is that secret that the Upanishads unraveled? Is the question that we take up now. What is that secret in the Upanishads which gives direction to modern science? I want to share with you a story of a very rich merchant with 4 wives. It is the 4th wife whom the merchant loved the most. He spent all his time, energy, money to take care of her. She also loved him very much. A wonderful couple. And the 3rd wife, the most attractive, most beautiful, most enchanting, and a great P.R.O. The merchant used to send her to meet the big visitors, VVIPs, who would come, and she will go mesmerize them to the ways of the merchant, make a big business through them. So the merchant was very proud of her. She also loved him very much. But in the heart of hearts, the merchant was a little afraid. What happens if she meets a very huge merchant or a big merchant? What's going to happen? Was a little fear he had. And the 2nd wife, very pragmatic, very practical, down to earth. Any problem the merchant could not solve, he would turn to her and she goes solving the problem. So the merchant was very, very happy with her and loved her, and she also loved him. What about the 1st wife? She always remained in the house. Beautiful palatial building. She took care of every detail in the house. It was kept so marvelously aesthetic. And anybody who came, he was able to bring such wonderful hospitality, such a serene atmosphere. But nobody knew who is doing all that. She is always behind the scene. The unfortunate thing was, the merchant also did not bother about her. He never asked, "Hey, have you taken food?" Never. But it mattered not for her, because she had the real love for the merchant. In the normal love, you love somebody and you expect that they also love you. This is the carnal love called as kama. But in the real love called the prema bhava, you go on giving and giving and giving because you love in the prema bhava. Don't expect anything in return. This is what she was. And she all the time went on giving and giving, did not bother whether the merchant talked to her or not. These are the 4 wives. A day came, the merchant became very old. He was on the deathbed. He knew a few more hours he is going to die. Then he thought of his luxurious life all these years, with 4 wives taking care of me so nicely. What is going to happen to me when I die? I go to some unknown place where there will be nobody to take care of me. Life will be so boring. What to do, what to do? He scratched his head, as some people scratch their head to get some new ideas. He got a brilliant idea. What? can I see that some of my wives come with me? Naturally, he turned to his fourth wife. Oh dear, I loved you the most. I did everything for you. And now I'm going to a new place. Please join me. Let us turn a new leaf in our lives. She looks at him. What are you talking? You are dying? You want me to die? Goodbye, goodbye. She walks away. A big hit to the merchant. Then he turns to his third wife. Now he has to concoct some new story. He says, you see, I have been introducing to all big people, VIPs, VVIPs, everybody. Now I am going to go to a super space in which there will be super VVIPs. Come, join me. Let us go and make a fantastic world there. Then she looks at him. I am not a fool. A bird in hand is worth two in the bush. I am only waiting for that moment for you to die. As soon as you die, I have fixed up that huge millionaire, billionaire. I am going to marry him. All the fears of the merchant came true. Then he turns to his second wife. Oh dear, look, both these wives have betrayed me so badly. You are the only hope. In my life, you have solved all my problems. I am so proud of you. Now I have the biggest problem. Yes, what can I do? What can I do? I am going there to the super space. I don't have company. Please come and join me and we will turn a new life. In all humility, with the hands folded. Oh merchant, how I wish I can do this. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. I can't help you this time. The best I can do is carry you to the crematorium or a burial ground. All the hopes of the merchant collapsed. He was devastated. Then he hears a sweet voice. Oh my dear, don't worry, I am going to come. Wherever you go, I am going to come and continue to serve you as I have been serving all these years. The merchant looks. Who is that? His first wife. How is she? Very emaciated, thin, as if she is suffering from malnutrition. The merchant felt so bad, cut up, ashamed, guilty. Shame on me, shame on me. When I could have done everything for her, I never did anything. I even did not ask whether you are taking food. This is the story of four wives. And the merchant felt so bad, cut up, guilty, ashamed. Shame on me, shame on me. This is the story of four wives. Now the Upanishad asks, who is that merchant? Who are the four wives? Upanishad tell us, each one of us represent that merchant. Each one of us have four wives. Who are they? Fourth wife is our fond body we love the most. We spend all our money, energy, time to take care of this body. But what happens to this body? When we die, this fourth wife is going to say goodbye to us. Then who is the third wife? Most enchanting, most beautiful, a great PR. This is our property, the wealth. And my beautiful house I have built, you see that. And how much money I have spent, the best of the architectural design, the best locality I have built, and how many floors, 40 floors, how many rooms, 80 rooms, how many people staying in the house, 3 persons. And how do you manage all these rooms? No problem. I have got one robot in each room. The robot will take care of the cleaning and everything. How do you open doors? I have my remote. what is going to happen to all this when you die? Is going to go to someone else. So the third wife is going to marry someone else as we die. Who is that second wife? Who is always helpful, solving our problem? Our friends and relatives who always come to our help. How long can they help us? As long as we are alive. When we die, what can they do? The best they can do is carry our dead body to the grave at the crematorium. Then who is that first wife? Always unseen. That is our individual soul called Jivatma. And just like the merchant or the businessman, we have no time today. All the time we are running and running and running. Very, very busy. So if I tell every day must do practice of 1 hour of yoga. 1 hour? I don't have that 1 hour time. If I had, I would have earned $1,000 more. No time, no time, no time. So the Upanishad tell us, please, please, don't regret like the merchant at the end of your life. Spend time to look inwards. There starts real yoga. There starts real spirituality. Adi Atma. Why this happened to all of us? It is not our mistake. It is the mistake of Brahma, the creator. When he created us, he kept all our senses outwardly. Paranchikhani vyaturnat, paribhuhu, swayambhuhu, tasmat parang pashyati nantaratman. The eyes look outside, ears hear outside, and all our senses are outward. And our mind also thinks outside. A psychologist who analyzes the mind, he tries to analyze the mind of others, not of himself. That is the way that I have been created. But the Upanishad tells, Kathopanishad, Kaschid dhiraha pratyagatmanamaikshata avritta chakshuhu amrutatvam icchan. A great researcher like you, O Nachiketa, you have started looking inwards and started understanding your real self. The swadhyaya, the introspection starts, and this is the spiritual journey inside. Once you start doing, you unravel a huge world inside, much bigger, much subtler than the world outside. We never knew what is underwater. Once we started diving deep into the ocean, then we understood there is an underwater world which is more fascinating than the world outside. Similar thing happens here. Inside you find a tremendously fascinating, the most complicated, sophisticated world. And as you go deeper and deeper and deeper into our consciousness, you reach a source from where the whole creation has come. That is our original state called Atman, Parama Atman, the self of all of us. What is that? Infinite knowledge, infinite freedom, infinite power, and infinite bliss. That is the unchanging dimension we found. And coming out of that is this entire world which goes on changing and changing and changing. That's why it is called as Jagat. The word Jagat comes from the root, that which changes, Jagatyan Jagat. Therefore there was a big Buddhistic philosopher called Nagarjuna, and he made a wonderful model of this whole creation. He called it as Kshanikavada. Kshanika means temporal, that goes on coming and going, coming and going. He had a very brilliant student. He came up and said, "Oh master, you are master of masters. What a fantastic model you have developed. But sir, I have a question. What? If everything is changing in the world, is there something that does not change?" he asked. Nagarjuna did not answer. He kept mum. But the later group who came, the Mahayana group, they said, it is Shunya, a zero, a vacuum. They are called Shunyavadis, they are called the Kshanikavadis. But after a few hundred years, when Shankaracharya came into picture, He said, how is it possible? This fantastic world, this infinite world, can it come from a zero? Looks very illogical. So he wrote his new thesis of Advaita, expanding on one single shloka in Bhagavad Gita. Nasato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate sataha. He elaborated that and built the whole thesis. He said that source also should be infinite. Purnamadaha, Purnamidam. This is full, that also should be full. That cannot be zero. Then what is the relation between the two? Purnat Purnam Budachyate. This entire world comes from that original infinite source. When it comes out of that, what happens? When it becomes a zero, x minus x is zero. That this is the law of the finite world. The law of the infinite world is infinity minus infinity could be infinity. So, Purnasya Purnam Adaya, Purnam eva avasishyate, that Purna remains untouched. The same infinite remains. And that is our original state. Therefore, Upanishad tells the Sarve Amrutasya Putraha. So, Vivekananda said, each soul is potentially divine. Each one of us have infinite knowledge, infinite power, infinite freedom, infinite bliss we all have. That's our original state. But we have forgotten that. We have identified with the lower adjuncts. And as a result of that, we have lost the tremendous amount of infinite knowledge and bliss. So the goal of life is to manifest that divinity. How? We have to cleanse all our dirt. Sun is there, but dark clouds. The sunshine is not reaching down. So what is to be done? When the clouds go away, then the sunshine will come. So what is that dirt? They are called as 5 layers we have. They are called Panchakoshas. That forms the entire Jagat. Anandamaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, and the physical body, the Annamaya Kosha. In the world at large, we have the physical world, the electromagnetic field, then we have the bioplasmic world, then we have the astral layer, and we have the wisdom layer and the bliss layer. These are the 5 fields that we can see in the outside world, and we have these 5 bodies we can say, Panchakoshas. And all these koshas go on changing and changing and changing, and that's why it is the Jagat. And that does not change is our original state. Therefore, all these 5 koshas are like dirt, like the clouds, which does not allow the sunshine to come down. So what is to be done? They have to be purified. Yoga is the science of that purification. Yoga is the way by which you cleanse this body, cleanse the prana, the mind, the emotions, the intellect, and all these things have to be cleansed. And that is the direction given. Therefore, Upanishads have unraveled this entire mystery of the whole universe. Modern science is tracked only the Annamaya Kosha. And Upanishads went beyond. That's why Professor Josephson or Fritz of Capra are the top Nobel laureates of the world. They all have told that Upanishads give us a direction. What is the direction? Having understood the physical world, you have to go beyond to understand prana, the mind, the emotions, the intellect, and that which is beyond all, consciousness, pure consciousness. And this is the journey that we have to trod. Therefore, every person has to unravel this mystery. And that is the whole Upanishadic approach in search for reality. And through that search for reality, the person will start transforming himself and go to higher and higher heights until he unravels the totality. The Taittiriya Upanishad gave us the entire dimension of this process of unraveling the mystery. As I was mentioning, a student comes and says, "Sir, I want to know about Brahman." And the teacher directs him, "Okay, go and do tapas." tapasa brahma vijignasasva tapo brahmeti, he says. Then what is that tapas? How to do tapas? The teacher gives a hint. Yato va imani bhutani jayante yena jatani jivanti yat prayanti avisamvishanti iti tad vijignasasva tad brahmeti. Find out something within you by which you are born. It is the same thing which sustains you. And when you die, you go back to that. Find out what that is. The students start thinking, what is that? What is that with which I am made? What is it that sustains me? And he says, when I die, I go back to the same thing. What is that? What is that? Few days passed. Suddenly he gets a flash. Eureka of Archimedes. He jumps with joy. Ha-vu, ha-vu, ha-vu. Ahamannam, ahamannam, ahamannam. With that thrill, he runs to his teacher. Sir, whether I am right? What? What did you find? I found everything is but Anna. Why? Anna dheva kal vimani bhutani jayante annena jatani jivanti annam prayanti abhisamvishanti iti tad vignaya punareva varunam pitaram upasasara adhihi bhagavo brahmeti. So, Bhrigu was the student, Varuna was the teacher. Varuna says, wonderful, wonderful my dear boy, great, go further, this is not the end of the game, this is the real beginning. Go and find out from where this comes. What to do? Do more tapas, deeper meditation, deeper tapas. Again the student goes back, start thinking, what is it that is more deeper than this body and the Anna? Then he thinks of two persons lying on the ground. One person is doing nice shavasana, another is dead. What's the difference? The body is there, the Anna is there, the matter is there, but something is missing. What is that? Prano brahmeti vyajanat. It is the prana, the life. And without prana, I may have the body, no use. Therefore he runs back again to the teacher. Sir, I have found. It is the prana that is more fundamental than Anna. Wonderful, wonderful my dear boy. Good, good, good. Go further. He comes back and start thinking, what is beyond prana? He thinks of a person who had a big accident and he was unconscious. The neurosurgeons did surgery and they said, surgery is successful, he will become normal. And he is still in unconscious. 5 days over, 10 days over, 15 days over, 3 months over. Everybody is telling, what? You said surgery is successful, why is not back to action? Well, it takes time, 3 months, 6 months, sometimes, it all depends. What is happening? The body was there, prana was there. What is missing? Mano brahmeti vyajanat. Mind. Therefore, Bhrigu came to Varuna. Incidentally, Varuna is his father also, his teacher also. And Varuna says, very good progress, my dear boy. Go further. Find out more deeper dimension. And this time he starts going and start thinking, what is beyond mind? Then he thinks of a hospital like Nimhans, National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences here. The person was there and he is a neurotic. He has the mind, but what is missing? Controller of the mind. And therefore he says, controller of the mind is important. The buddhi, the vijnana. So this time is almost clear. As I have reached the end of the game, he comes with the fullest confidence to his teacher. Sir, I have found what? Vijnanam brahmeti vyajanat. Vijnanadhyeva kal vimani bhutani jayante. Vijnanena jatani jivanti. Vijnanam prayanti abhisamvishanti iti. Tad vignaya punareva varunam pitarabupasasara adhihi bhagavo brahmeti. Varuna looks at him. Wonderful, wonderful, my dear boy. Great, great, great. One more step. Find out from where the mind is coming out, from where your control of the mind is emerging, from where all thoughts emerge. Go and find out. And Bhrigu goes, sits in deep meditation, trying to search from where the thoughts are emerging, searching from where that control of the mind emerges. Very difficult. The mind was wandering, wandering, wandering. Weeks passed, months rolled. Slowly started getting control over the mind. The mind started slowing down, and he was able to go a little deeper and deeper to find out that controller of the mind, the thoughts. And a few more months passed, and now he is getting to the state where the mind is completely getting under his control. And one day there is a tremendous flash inside, and he is so happy, so blissful. Anando brahmeti vyajanat. He found it the bliss that is at the base of this controller of the mind. And this time something different happened. What happened? Just stayed in the state of bliss. Saparame vyoman pratisthita. He did not come back to his teacher. And probably Varuna is looking, what happened to my dear son? Several years have passed. Whether he is alive or not, probably he went in search of him. And there he finds he is sitting in the deep samadhi state, in the state of blissful awareness, bliss emanating from him. And Varuna knew he has reached. Question is, why did he not come back to the teacher to report? Each time he came back earlier, he had a doubt whether this is right or not. But this time he had no doubt, because he has transcended the mind. He has gone beyond the thoughts. And when you don't have thoughts, how can you have questions? Supposing you are in deep sleep, not dream state, dreamless deep sleep, can you have questions? You can't have questions. So it is this state where you have no questions. Vidyate hrudaya grantihi chidyante sarva samshayaha kshiyante chasya karmani tasmin drushte paravare. It is said. When you enter into that, all your doubts will vanish. All the dirt is going to get purified. And all your granthis, knots, blocks, obsessions will all get vanished. And you are in the state of wonderful bliss called the Anandamaya Kosha. And that is the whole journey that the Bhrigu, the student, unraveled. And this is how the teacher directs the student to unravel himself. It is not only the Bhrigu that he has to do. Every student who comes into the field of Upanishads have to bring about this transformational process. He has to move from the Annamaya to Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnana, Anandamaya Koshas, and beyond Anandamaya Kosha in the end. This is the whole journey. Therefore, the Upanishads give us not only the direction as to where modern science has to go, but also has unraveled the total mystery of the whole universe and that which is beyond. Therefore, the Upanishads give us the complete knowledge base which has to be brought forth to meet the challenges of our modern era. Conflicts in life, stress and its hazards, search for happiness, search for reality, and the basis of this entire life, the meaning of this life. And therefore, my dear friends, my dear brothers and sisters, it is such a fantastic and great revelation that our ancient rishis, masters and yoga masters were able to unravel and give us. We all have to take to this. That is the path of yoga, that is the path of spirituality, which alone can save us from all the hazards and the conflicts and the challenges that we face in the modern era of science and technology. And in the next thing we will go as to how the people went in search for the happiness, and Ananda Mimamsa we are going to take up. Thank you all very much. Dhanyavad.